The gift that keeps on giving is continuing to be the gift that keeps on giving. This lady cannot keep her mouth shut when it comes to this type of stuff, okay? Even though she's not really directly addressing any of anybody's concerns, really. She's just kind of talking around everything, making a bunch of posts, getting ratioed. But hey, does it really much matter at the end of the day if you have something that is overwhelmingly loved or overwhelmingly hated? Regardless, when you're a grifter in this game, and she most certainly is. This might be happening too early in the year for anybody to remember by the end. Hopefully we keep a pin in this and continue to revisit it whenever she says something stupid, which she's going to try to, because we've seen how long in some of the previous videos that I've done, and many other people have as well. She definitely knows how to stay relevant for a long time, because, well, she's on the wrong side of 40 after all, so, you know, she has some sort of expertise in this type of stuff. But we don't need to get petty. We just look at the facts and discern for ourselves, shall we? So she addressed this. This would have been somewhere after the time I published the video last night. She finally brought up his name. Yes, Elon Musk, addressing any sort of alleged connections. Well, not exactly drawing the conclusions that everybody can see with their own two eyes. Wow, anybody who's critical of Eliza seems to get just yeeted off the platform. It's kind of a weird situation that you have there. Do you have any sort of inside track? No. And you said track. Are you implying, because that is slang that is out there, that I could be a prostitute? And that's like basically human trafficking. Oh my God. I'm going to say this last thing because it... Okay, no, I thought maybe I was having a brain aneurysm, but that is a sentence that is terribly worded. You have Twitter Blue, okay? We think that it's probably named after you, but you have the editing feature and you leave up that malformed sentence. Holy. I'm going to say this last thing because it on my heart. That sounds like butchered song lyrics, but okay, we'll continue. If you are trying to get me out of the way to pull down Elon Musk, nobody's concerned about pulling you down in order to get to Elon Musk. We're just kind of wondering why he's running cover for you. That's what we're concerned about. But okay, if you want to go ahead and reframe this, and it's well within your purview, you have the right to speak as much as anybody else. I'll take the popular, well, maybe not in your circle, but the popular position that everybody has the right to express and confirm how stupid you actually are. But yes, run that back one more time. If you are trying to get me out of the way to pull down Elon Musk, or to get me to stop being a survivor advocate, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving. We're not leaving. I'm not budging. I'm going to stand right here. You can move me because, ooh, she's elicited some sort of an emotional response on Twitter, and hey, I'm partially partially fallen into this. Okay, I guess I've been made a victim of Eliza. Do I get any sort of clout because of? Nah, I don't really care about that, but you guys out there really do. Okay, that video yesterday, I thought it would do fine. I didn't anticipate it to be so well liked. Like, I could show you the back end statistics at the time of recording this. It's like 100 and some odd likes as opposed to 3 dislikes. So that's what, Eliza, 2 of her friends, maybe Tim Pool. We'll get to him very shortly. He doesn't need me to stand here, but I've decided that I'm not moving because she's wrapped herself in all of the appropriate banners. Okay, because we could run back and we can take a look at some of the other more popular TradCon pundits that are out there. And you'll see that the words Eliza Blue, or even that pairing out there, never been uttered out of their mouth. Jack Posobiec, not a tweet. Tim Pool, well, there was one, but, very conspicuously, well, I don't even think that she was referenced in it, but it's been pulled down. But we'll get to that. I don't want to spoil everything. This is going to be a slow broil, very slow. As far as being an advocate goes, I'll die an advocate. But that's nice, but everything was predicated in your entire image, or at least this incarnation, okay, the blue incarnation. We're not talking about Cuts or Seep or Nose or Morthland. I keep messing up her last name because I think that it's Northam, but that's the former blackface governor of Virginia. But Morthland's her real last name, so Eliza Morthland. But she's operating under a fake name. Isn't that a form of anyways? My advocates went to hell and back for me. Language. I have not forgotten their kindness. The least I could do is the same thing. Again, you're not addressing the fact that most of your biggest detractors have been permanently suspended once again on what was supposed to be a free speech platform. First tweet should have said can't. You cannot move me. I'm standing right here. But yeah, everything that she does is getting ratioed to hell and back because, well, we can see that you're lying. But your grift works. You know, she pushes the unobjectionable stuff in front of her own character flaws. Who's actually for human trafficking? Nobody. Nobody. Good. Who's for sex trafficking? No, even fewer people. Yeah, good. It's a terrible thing, and being an advocate for anybody who's been victimized by those situations, of course, you're gonna have carte blanche to do whatever you want. And you have your own backstory? Holy, would you like to describe that? What are you doing? You're basically making me relive trauma. Oh, now we're starting to have problems. Oh, no, but you're doing good work, and we can't ask you about that. Oh, okay. So, she got the cover on this front. And then she followed up this tweet with another tweet, which I quote tweeted the first one. We don't really need to get into that, but there's another response that she had after that. Okay, and she's wrapping herself in another one. She's taking that God pill, and she is delving deep into that TradCon support, and you just love to see it. I pointed it out at the beginning. Okay, she's a darling of the right now. All she did was repackage Believe All Women to be palatable to them, and she thinks that she has open highway, okay? Everybody's just gonna clear the path for her. Well, guess what? I'm not right, I'm not left, I'm not up, I'm not down. I'm just here for the truth. These are the facts as you purport it, and, well, you know, boy might have got just, you know, a little bit too spicy with his reply. I don't even know how long I'm going to be flying under the radar, especially if there's any sort of blowback, and her poll is as, well, kind of as expected. I love Jesus Christ, and he loves me back. I used to be afraid to say that in public, but I'm not afraid anymore. Oh my God, it's like that trend that was out there on social media by putting out hot take beforehand, and then just having some vanilla response afterwards, and then everybody underneath of that, oh my gosh, me too. Oh, that's such a good take. Or then even still, if it was just so vanilla, it could be, that's not really a hot take. You know how to drive engagement. Good for you. It's a very successful business plan, and this is the bump that you needed. You've always been looking for that. Even back in your video vixen days, you tried so hard to get the attention of world star hip hop, and after attempt, well, who knows what else you had to do. These are your words, not mine. You had to get on your knees and begged. It was the only thing that you had to do when you're on your knees. I'm sure of that. 100%. So what about going forward? What is she going to be doing? How is she going to be relevant? Nobody in mass media wants to talk about this story. It is wild. It's wild. This is the first time in a long time. I guess a couple of other things. I don't know what Dave Bautista's doing. Probably just being really lame again. I used to be a big Bautista fan back when he was, popping in the Fed, but every single time I see him trending, it's just something stupid. And yeah, Alec Baldwin was formally charged. Jordan Peterson's creating some sort of WEF alternative. That video's coming out. I have one in the can. I'm not too sure when it comes out. I got it scheduled. It'll be out within the next week or so, like that. And spoiler, it's not going to be a popular take, but it's an honest take from my perspective. Something more than I can say than what Tim Pool can offer you. And again, he was a big inspiration for me starting this, mostly because I seen what he was doing and I thought, I can do it better. And I've just been waiting for the opportunity to get my opportunity. And, well, you don't want to talk about this? Hey. Couple of other people are talking about it. Might as well throw my hat in the ring, right? So you got Wholesome Crow. Don't know who this guy is, but he quote tweeted and he managed to screenshot this since deleted tweet from Tim Pool referencing, hey buddy, why aren't you talking about this? This is somebody who's been on your show multiple times. You've made reference to all of the good work that she's done and not really provided any receipts, and you've been radio silent on this stuff for the past couple of weeks. You had an article on your Timcast News website that was promoting all of the good work that she was doing in representing some of the survivors of Andrew Tate, and there's some fake story that's running around right now that Georgiana flipped on the Tate brothers. Bro, if you buy that for a second, I'm sorry about that brain damage that you have. And make sure, if you're not fully comprehending everything that I'm saying here, there's this little slider that's probably, just need to go ahead. It's probably about right there on YouTube where you can just go ahead and turn down the speaking volume. And you can slow down the video to about half speed so it just doesn't go over your head. That was tweeted out from an account that is dedicated to anti-Tate propaganda. I don't know who would run with that. I ended up unfollowing and just, it was the straw that broke the camel's back and me following one person, mostly because I like him in one area, okay, as an author, terrific person. As a commentator, you're hanging around with somebody who has a very poisonous influence on your thought process, okay? I don't need to get into specifics or anything like that, but if he goes off the deep end one more time, that'll be a problem in the future. But we're focusing on Eliza Blue, Tim Pool, and then somebody who is referenced in the first line of this deleted tweet, who we will get to because you probably can already tell by the thumbnail. There's more blue files that are out there, and boy, are they good! And even stick around to the end of this because I even found some stuff. Oh, guess what? Your boy's doing some investigative journalism? Holy! So, after throwing the quartering under the bus and lying about him, about how his writers has always been working on the story. We'll get to that writer as well because this is a very intricate story. It's wild. Okay. Tim Pool has deleted this tweet and is back to pretending he doesn't know about Eliza Blue. Yeah, because you can even go check any of his previous tweets, any reference to Blue, B-L-E-U, B-L-U-E, Eliza, any sort of combination of any of those words, her name doesn't show up at all whatsoever. There's one reference to some Eliza that has nothing to do with it, and Blue obviously is just going to pull up a bunch of Act Blue Democratic tweets, all of that type of stuff. Politics is Tim Pool space. But you've also hosted and vouched for Eliza, and this is one of the biggest stories that's out there, and you're radio silent on it. People are wondering because Elon Musk has also been made aware of this situation, and he is also absolutely mute on the subject. It's weird. It's kind of like the Paul Pelosi situation. Follow me on this for a second, okay? There was a lot of speculation as to what was going on there. Was this a lover's tryst gone wrong? How did he break into the house when all the glass is on the outside? Why was there conflicting reports about in the body cam footage? Okay, why was there a redacted report that ended up being confirmed? And then when the video gets released, it's like, no, that seems like a hostage situation. You end up sowing conspiracy theories, or people's minds will wander. If you let them have a little bit of mystery, they will try to fill in the blanks, when in actuality, the truth more oftentimes is much more basic than what anybody can possibly think of. Something that I listen to when I fall asleep at night, it's kind of weird. I like to have just a little bit of a murmur of something on top of some white noise. The fan in the winter time, and then a air conditioner in the summertime. Game of Thrones, or I guess it would be a Song of Ice and Fire theories. Those people, because they've been waiting just about 12 years in between books, have come up with some of the wildest theories that are out there, and some of them are kind of hilarious, and some of the bigger Game of Thrones YouTube channels actually do a really good job about breaking that stuff down. So those are fun to listen to. And that's kind of what you get on some of the more twisted side of politics, but then they just end up getting, so big-brained about this stuff. Oh, the deep state and then the globalists are all running together. Not everybody can be Alex Jones and present with such charisma when presenting such far-fetched ideas. Anyways, so here's Tim Pool's tweet. He's been on the screen long enough, so we might as well address the, I would say elephant in the room, but tiny, balding, beanie-wearing mouse in the room. We had the quartering booked for last night, and he bailed on us. Oh, no. We've had Shane Cashman working on the story in regards to Eliza. Doesn't mention her, though. Very strange. People are still mad at us. Should we stop covering the story? No, you should just run with what's out there, because normally whenever I tune in to your show, whenever there's a guest of note, normally you just run off the headline and then you just run everything around the table. So what would be different about this situation right here? There's some conflicting reports about somebody's history. She's getting people taken off the internet. Seems like it, okay, but anybody reposting one single screenshot, and then her report that was fact-checked by Twitter specifically, claiming that that was a personal bit of information that was made public, that seems to conflict with things. Thoughts? Well, no, if this was Tim Pool's show, he would be talking 90% of the time. The guest would talk 5%, and then goofy little Ian and Luke? Yeah, Luke. He would just try to hawk his wares, and Ian would say something so incomprehensibly stupid you would just wish that would be mind wiped from you. So, okay, if you're doing some deep diving on this stuff, not like World Star was, but if you're doing some investigative journalism on this story and you want to present something, well, you can do that afterwards, but this is kind of an ever-evolving story, and if you want to keep on top of it and you're supposed to be a current event show, you're either purposely hiding it or it doesn't fit in your wheelhouse. And the latter doesn't make sense to your format. And the former, well, inquiring minds will wander. But yes, as he the final line there, you can't appease the mob. It doesn't look too dissimilar to you can't move me, I'm not going anywhere. Seems to be fairly on brand now, doesn't it? But speaking of this Shane Cashman guy, we got Eliza one more time. He's apparently a tenured writer or at least an employed writer for Timcast. Never heard of this guy before. There's a picture of Eliza and Shane standing in front of a Peterbilt with some weird lighting. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Who even knows who the Shane Cashman guy is? Again, does it seem all that relevant? And he's just trying to get a story out of her. But we've seen how some of those interviews tend to go whenever there's unreleased audio. She seems a little bit prickly when it comes to, hey, would you like to elaborate on your backstory? You're basically making me relive my PTSD. That's a trigger. It's like, okay, geez, just calm down. I wasn't going to say anything about Shane Cashman spending a few days with me. Wait a minute. I know how these things work. Anyways, but the information was made public, so here we are. You posted the screen. You posted the picture, lady. Come on now. Made public? But we all know that you don't quite understand how copyrighted materials work, all things that are released into the public square as opposed to private materials. But, okay. January is National Human Trafficking Prevention Month. It's the end of the month, okay? It's a busy time for survivors, yes, of course, advocates, and others in the movement. Grifters are included. I was busy, still am. That's why you've been tweeting like a 14-year-old girl every single day. I'm busy. I have been working. You really have to drive the point home when you have to reaffirm that I've been working. Show, don't tell. I understand that folks have concerns. Oh, we have a lot of concerns that you aren't going to address. You got some parodies down below. Anyways, I have concerns as well. Everyone wanted to talk to me. About what? About what? I was working. That's nice. You got to go ahead and drive it home again. I was working. I'm really busy, guys. It's like, yeah. Oh, okay. Even so, this just kind of came to me. But we'll just finish this off because I have a terrible habit of never going back to the source material, or at least going back to it after it's just, well worn out. But let's continue. Anyone who wanted to talk to me, I was working. It wasn't my time to talk. I was listening. Bruh. I just want to listen, but I'll talk. I guess the question is, are you ready to hear what I have to say? Nobody's really caring that much because we all know it's going to be veiled in this mystique of lies that you've kind of cultivated for yourself. Nobody's going to take you seriously. We're just going to look for incongruity to your actions as opposed to your words, which is kind of difficult for somebody who is supposedly coming forward and representing people who are shepherding people who are actual victims in order to get retribution and justice from their victimizers. Very odd. It's very odd. That's what I have to say about this. There's somebody else who has quite a bit more to say about this, and that's the big homie over there. Big Jeremy. I'm not calling him fat or anything. I'm just saying he's a big boy. I think he's over 6 feet tall. That big old bushy beard and his goofy little hat and his big bags of coffee. And for as much criticism as I have for Tim Pool, and as many times as I've critiqued the quartering in the past, you could even call it criticism if you like. The fact that he's doing all this stuff, going in full force, I got nothing but respect for the big man now. Might not like his labored delivery, but you cannot doubt the man is a success. And if you think that I'm covering this story quite vociferously, the quartering's probably already got like 15 different videos on it. So come on now. And that's just today. The guy has an unparalleled work ethic. It's amazing. It's amazing what you can do with an entire team of people. Case in point, the second drop of the Eliza Blue files. You'll love to see it. So what does he have here? It's not quite as long. There's not a lot of video, not a lot of audio, I don't think. I just did a really quick look over what's in here, and it doesn't look like there's anything that we need to read or watch quite yet. So, in yesterday's The Eliza Blue files, I reintroduced the internet to Eliza Blue, the activist that has the power to change the rules of Twitter and censor her critics. Fair enough. So far, so good. Today, we get part 2. How a clout goblin falsely took credit for Twitter removing child porn. Yeah, because that was one of her big claims to fame, or at least what everybody else was championing. I can see by Eliza's Twitter responses, she loves to play a good word game. She really does. She doesn't ever want to directly implicate. She never wants to directly address anything. She just wants to be back in the shadows, pulling the strings, as it were. A shadowy character, to say the least. But yes, a lot of people were saying, especially when Elon initially took over, oh, Eliza, she was paying attention to all those hashtags that were on there that were sharing this objectionable material. And then, yeah, no, she was paying attention to it. And one of the first things that Elon Musk did, oh, she noticed that there was a big difference. It's like, oh, okay, cool. If she knew, just follow me on this one, because this is still illegal material. That one lawsuit, the very wild lawsuit aside, if you have all of this information that would lead to the dissemination of incredibly objectionable underage material, wouldn't you be bringing that to the authorities? Like legal jurisdiction within San Francisco? If that's your entire job, if that's your entire brand, to be a human trafficking, sex trafficking advocate, wouldn't you be advocating for people with legitimately the smallest voices? Or did you just want an easy clout jack? Did you just want to have everybody's support by saying, I stand up for bad things that are on the internet, and then everybody clapped? That's why we went through her history at the beginning there, and what she's doing in order to make herself theoretically bulletproof, because nobody wants to talk about this. It's wild. I can't quite figure out why the media blackouts out there, outside of just sheer incompetence and the unwillingness to really dig deep on the subject, because you'll see the same people who are radio silent on this also be able to cut through the nonsense when it comes to Trump and DeSantis, okay, Crowder and Daily Wire. Even if they're on the wrong side of this, they'll weigh into this, but not on this subject. Maybe because there's some objectionable stuff that happens behind the scenes on both sides of the aisle. Oh wait, that's probably exactly what it is. Anyways, let's get into the files. Eliza Bleu burst onto the scene through a combination of running the conservative libertarian podcast scene and one viral Twitter thread claiming to have gotten child porn removed from Twitter on November 20th. The problem? She lied. Oh, wait, no, come on now. As early as December 1st. Yeah, it'd be December 1st. Okay. People on Twitter were pointing out the contradictions in her claims. Users were reporting publicly that there was still plenty of activity being used to trade child exploitation material. She ignored them. Oh, an open secret. I've seen them opine on this quite a few times. Whenever I'm doing, I can't remember specifically. It's probably this story, but doing some other research, either on the Tate side or on this specific situation. They both kind of run together for very obvious reasons. But I've seen them pop up, and they've been pretty staunch and consistent when it comes to what they're doing. So what do they have here? Certain people have pushed a false narrative that the 3 top hashtags used to trade child porn were removed from Twitter through automated processes after Elon Musk purchased the company. We know that fact is false. We are working with a media outlet to reveal the evidence. All right, and I'd imagine probably the receipts are going to be forthcoming. December 3rd, those popular child sex traffic hashtags remained alive on Twitter. I don't care what they are, don't need to know what they are, just as long as the people who are aware of the situation know what they are and know what's happening with them. That's what we need to know. People close to Eliza were begging her to address the issue and get back to work with her apparent Twitter connections. She ignored it as new followers poured in. Yeah, this is something that I've noticed from even back in her history, and feel free to go back and look as well. Whenever there's something controversial come up and she gets taken to task for her inaction or her misguided actions, she'll immediately withdraw and do the same old tactic. Oh my God, my trolls are just coming after me and I can't take it anymore. I need to take some time away from social media. That is always a big red flag whenever somebody says, I just need to take a break from social media because I'm just not in the right headspace right now, okay? It's such garbage. I work every single day. The quartering works. I think he runs a schedule 6 days a week. Like, these are guys who are in there every single day just doing the work. Now, every once in a while, I just want to, stagger my schedule, so maybe I get a couple of extra hours out of my day, because every video you just see the end product. You don't see the additional hours that get put into it, and to be completely honest, that's fine. That's none of your guys' concern. You're here for the video. You're here for the content. The rest of it, it don't matter at all. That falls on my shoulders. That's my burden to bear, and the results speak for themselves. But she posts on Twitter and makes podcast appearances, and because of her controversial opinions, it's like, oh yeah, I'm against sex trafficking, and everybody's like, yeah, that's so great, and we're so happy. Oh, we got one of our own there, some post-wall, dyed-haired, could be, maybe, potentially former sex worker. Okay, great, wonderful, fantastic. The right really got a winner on this one. But what is this right now? Yo, okay, so 2 years ago, I provided Twitter communications with a hashtag that was being used to trade child porn on this app, despite all the Elon fanfare. It's as active as ever. Here's a photo of a little girl promoting the abuse material she's starring in being up for 8 days. Yeah, that's kind of gross. Curiously, pro Elon Musk outlet Teslarati, that makes sense, had an article written and ready to go and released the same day as the viral Eliza Blue thread. The article was published on November 19th, making the exact same claim as Eliza Blue and shared in the same thread. Seems like coordinated PR. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing you see with outlets like New York Post. I've noticed this particularly, especially when I record a video, I keep it in the background for a minute, and then eventually release it. I forget the specific one, but I seen it trend. It was Chloe Grace Moretz and her short little legs and whatever. That story kept going back into the trending side of things multiple times over a few weeks apart. It's just very odd, and it's almost like there's a coordinated media effort whenever something comes out, as well as those Instagram thoughts that are out there every once in a while. It's like, oh my, I was criticized growing up for just having gigantic breasts and a plump ass, and oh, now I've monetized my haters online. It's like, you paid for that. That's advertising. That goes into your budget. I understand. Stuff like that happens every single day. So yeah, can't confirm, but at the same time, can confirm. Eliza Blue, a relatively obscure small account on Twitter, gained 48,000 followers in November and an additional 116,000 new followers on the back of being touted as a slayer of child porn on Twitter. Of course, what's objectionable about that? Everybody knew Twitter, Facebook are the two biggest purveyors of child pornography outside of the FBI. And that's not even a lie. So if she's going to take on this gigantic burden and somehow tout receipts also with knowing nobody at Twitter is going to be able to speak out against this, as saying you had nothing to do with this. Obviously, they're more than happy to get the additional attention, especially for somebody who's gaining such a following as well. So it's a calculated move on her behalf. It's a very low-risk investment. Hundreds of thousands of people saw the thread and thought child porn was gone. And it was not. The worst part is once you do that, people stop looking. People move on because they think the problem is solved. So this kind of had a cooling effect. So when in doubt, now she can just decide, oh my God, everything's just popped back up again. Break glass in case of an emergency. And unfortunately, behind the glass, it's kind of got child exploitation materials. Interesting. For weeks, tens of thousands of followers poured in. Child porn remained alive, and Eliza Blue issued 0 corrections. No, we don't see her do that. No, man, that totally seems out of character. As late as December 4th, Twitter was reaching out to other people to help fix it. Turns out the child porn reporting system was broken, and still was at this point. Oh, the Balenciaga, no, not Balenciaga. Oh no, that's the same lady right here. Small but promising update. Head of Twitter safety reached out directly to me about an hour ago. After short exchange, the account with the photo of the little girl has been suspended. Finally, hey, good stuff right there. Somebody who's actually doing stuff. Slatzism. Bro, hopefully you ended up fixing your handle. That's trash. In fact, as late as December 6th, child porn still roamed free on Twitter, almost 2 weeks after Eliza Blue claimed that it was gone and suggested to be partly responsible. Imagine that. Bottom line, Eliza Blue went viral as a savior for exploiting children, but the chips were down and it was clear she was wrong. She abandoned them in the exchange for Twitter followers and clout. Exactly. And she has an evergreen stash because she knows just as well as everybody else. Because I don't doubt that she's done some work in this field. She knows where the trafficking circles run. Not saying that she participates in it. I'm just saying she's probably got an eye on it. So whenever there's a new development, because the story's probably cooled off, but watch, tomorrow something crazy will end up happening, or something in the very near future. Whenever she starts to see just a decrease in any of her activity, you know there's going to be a whole host of these stories. And I was working so hard just promoting survivor awareness in January, and now I'm going to go back to this, and hey, take a look at all these scalps that I got on Twitter. Some of them slipped through the censors, but Elon Musk is such a good guy, and we took him down. Now look at how great I am. Continue to wrap yourself in that stuff, and then all the TradCons will be, oh my god, look what we got. We backed ourselves the winner right here. You can see it coming from a mile away. Just getting started on the Eliza Blue file. So yeah, this basically wraps everything up. Her insidious relationship with Twitter, corruption, and lies. Thank you for all of that stuff. Buy some coffee, all of that good stuff. The quartering, doing good stuff. Providing receipts that, the lady who built her grift on one specific topic wasn't even doing anything related to that topic. Perfect grift that she's running right there. And I know that term gets thrown around a lot by a bunch of disingenuous people. You're just in it for the money. You're just doing it for clout. 9 times out of 10, that's crap. Somebody's just talking things that are important. They're charismatic individuals, and they end up getting a break, maybe in the algorithm, or somebody ends up sharing their stuff. That's what ends up happening for most of the people that are out there. But like I said, 9 out of 10 times that's the case. Eliza Blue, she's that one. She just managed to do it under everybody's nose using the perfect cover. And like I said, I think I might have found something. And if you've tuned in this long, you will be rewarded. Your patience has been rewarded, and I thank you very much for that. Now, first of all, shout out to Chrissy Mayer, who I don't know, maybe she's just in between comedy gigs at this point in time, but she's also been going hard on this stuff, mostly because I think she's a close personal friend of Brittany Venti, and I think she's still suspended, which is ridiculous. I don't like Venti, but the fact that she's suspended on the platform for just initially posting the screenshot of Eliza, that's nonsense. Just get her back on the platform, okay? She can continue to just spin her wheels and do nothing, and simps are going to simp for her. That's totally fine. You just stay over there and nobody really cares. But Chrissy, she be going hard in the paint on this stuff, and she found this relatively small YouTube clip, okay, 2,600 views, nice, good business, okay, on the Liberty Lockdown channel, okay, about a year ago. When did the quartering say that she was making the rounds? About a year ago. Interesting how all this stuff tends to shake down, and she found this little snippet, okay? It's very interesting, and when I listened to all of it in 55 seconds, I thought, okay, maybe there's context missing, but then the more I thought about it, and it's like, interesting, I've heard this argument somewhere, and there's been a lot of comparisons to Eliza and a certain other character, having a similar meltdown in on and around about a year ago at this point in time, and, this is, I think we have another common through line on this stuff. So first and foremost, I will enable some sound on this, and I'll let Eliza tell her story in her own words.
Certainly acknowledge that there are many people who are 13, 14, 15 that have sex with an adult and then feel as if they were taken advantage of too.
100%.
Okay.
So let's focus on the worst.
Many, yeah.
Okay, so let's pretend like we all have our utopia. So if
I just want to know, where did the black scent go? I really miss that. I just need trashy white girl. You know what I'm saying? I feel so blessed. Oh man, I'm really missing that. Come on now, bring it back.
If I could answer this in utopia, right? In my perfect ANCAP utopia, each community, and each so it'd be each caregiver, parent, and community, including teachers, potential faith leaders, and neighbors, will decide if the child is ready to consent and look at the child's behavior. Do they have a job?
What the fuck?
How is their education going? Are they cognitively available to have sex with this individual? And then also look at the history of the individual as well. So does this individual have a history of abuse?
Yep.
And you go from there.
Certainly.
Dude, that's which, again, this is one of those talking points where it's like outside of discussions for like fantasy shows. trying to put the whole age of consent thing, it's 18. It's 18. Don't mess around with anybody else. It might be different somewhere else. 18, that's it. You will never hear me engaging in those type of thought exercises because that doesn't deserve my brain capacity. If you're talking about different times, different eras, that's a totally different story. But when you're trying to, and then she was also trying to court and say a couple of the other buzzwords because she's good at her grift. Like I've said multiple times before on my ANCAP fantasy. Oh my God, she knows some of the deep right lore. Oh my God, it's so wonderful. We got one of our, yeah, we got it. But you're talking about age of consent, and if people are mentally mature enough, you're supposed to be a survivor advocate, a trafficking advocate. Statutory rape is a thing, and if somebody's consenting in your idea of what consent could be in your ANCAP utopia, in the real world, you're talking about somebody 15, 16-year-old consenting to have sex with somebody a decade older than them. That's not how the laws work. And I understand maybe, you know, later in the video, maybe you clarified any of that stuff. But just hearing that thought exercise play out, and it's not like anybody had a gun to her head in that one and she was being forced to answer an unanswerable question like balls or no balls. Like I said, it really triggered something, okay? It triggered something in my mind, and there he is, you know, cuck numero uno, Jack Murphy. Had a very, very similar thought process, and it really got the old noggin jogging. See if these two people are cut from the same cloth.
I was 35-year-old man cannot have a healthy, productive, fruitful relationship
35.
with a woman 10 years younger than him.
I didn't say that. I just think
You just said they were immature and they shouldn't be matched up.
22.
Okay, 22, 23, 24.
Look,
Women
they're
mature
a 10-year-old
way
to go
more.
to college.
Women mature way more quickly than men, dude.
No, that's nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
That's
Way
just-
more
it's
quickly.
preference.
At
To each
the age
their own.
at age 15, women, they're basically women already. Right?
Yo, pause. 15, 16, they're basically women already. No, dude. Like, there was no hypothetical there. That was right on the tip of his tongue. Like, where are you going with that? And we could watch the rest of this clip, okay? It made the rounds way back in the cut when he initially made that statement. But this clip was posted right at the time, well, when everything regarding him was popping off, and he made that beard incredibly famous and synonymous with international meltdowns, as well as being a cuckold. But everybody wants to say Eliza Blue is Jack Murphy 2.0. I don't remember Jack Murphy even getting a fraction of the institutional power that Eliza had. But she was laying the groundwork of this stuff a long time ago, okay? Just trying to weasel her way into the right circles. Hell, that's even what Jack Murphy was doing, from Democrat to deplorable. Oh, yes, I'm here over on the right. Now I'm playing all of the correct things. Yeah, but you had an article back in 2015. I think it was 2015 or 2017. When were the chat roulette or chatterbait videos released? Those are 2017 or something like that, of him doing nefarious things with dildos going places where they shouldn't be going. But anyways, I'm still waiting for those drops. No, that would be the wrong terminology. I'm still anticipating those drops from Eliza, because of course they are. We've seen her dance moves for World Star Hip Hop, so those videos and those pictures aren't that far behind. But nobody would be posting those on Twitter. That would be some dark web type stuff. I'm just saying, these types of conversations tend to run and tend to permeate between people who are cut from the same cloth. It's just, we know once again the cuck got the small end of that. He had to sleep at the foot of the bed while Elon and Eliza snuggled. Quartering says he's got more files on her. Don't know what the next one's going to be. Don't know when it's going to be. But given the fact that, you know, Eliza just can't help but denigrate her own reputation and drag herself down further, well, I don't think it's going to be all that far away. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.